May I have a motion to open the meeting at 9:33, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. All right. Next, approval of the minutes from August 20th, 2025, and October 15th, 2025.
Make a motion to approve them?
We have to have two separate ones because
Okay.
some people weren't here for August and
got
can't
it.
vote on it.
Right.
And some people weren't here for October and can't vote on it.
Okay.
So we need to do them one at a time, I think.
Thank
Make a
you.
motion to approve August 20th Board of Directors meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to approve October 15th Board of Directors meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Abstain. I abstain.
Yeah,
Okay.
I abstained on August because I wasn't there. for
This
it.
was August.
No, we just did it, we did them both,
All right.
Yeah.
very quick, August and October.
Oh, well then, how do?
We're just fast.
I distracted her.
Okay. I abstained from August. I was here in
Okay.
October. Yay, yay.
All right, thank
Abstain
you.
and yay.
All right.
Really? Did I space out?
I did the same.
Next, we'd like to read the mission statement, and Deb, could you do that, please?
Sure.
Thank you. Yeah,
The mission of the Council on Aging is to advocate for Groveland's older adults, to identify their needs, to develop and implement services to meet their health, economic, social, and cultural needs, to encourage maximum independence, and to improve their quality of life.
Thank you. And I skipped past introductions, so let's go ahead and do that. Would you start, Laurel, please?
Sure. Laurel Pahalski, member of the board.
Deb Stevenson, Board Treasurer.
Irene Thomas, Board Secretary.
Sharon Hines, Board Chair.
Barbara Sanborn, Board Vice Chair.
George Orner, Board of Directors.
Thank you.
Larry McElhenney, Friends of the Council on Aging.
Linda Workman, board member.
Alyssa Lee, Director.
Thank you very much. Okay. We're going to move on to the presentation by Dory Sawyer from NEAT.
Hello again. Oh, am I supposed to talk right into the mic? Okay. I usually stand when I'm presenting, so this is going to be interesting. Can I carry it with me? Yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I want to start, as I usually do, by asking what transportation means to you.
Opportunity.
Opportunity, yeah.
Getting around where you need to go.
Right. Most of us only think of transportation when we're flying off to somewhere in the Netherlands and trying to arrange for getting to or from a place, or to or from the hotel, or to or from the activity that you're doing. But as you all know, because you've been with the Council on Aging board for a while, transportation is a huge need, not only in this community, but for all of the 13 communities that we support. It means independence. It means equitable access to health care. It means so much more than that, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. I look at a NEAT ride, and I was a driver for them when my youngest child was a baby, when she was 27 years ago. And what I found from it was that I got so much more from driving for NEAT than I gave. And it was because people really, as you probably can imagine, need access to their health care. And they deserve equitable access, especially as an older adult, to health care that may not reside in or around your community here. It may be as far as, Boston or Danvers, Peabody area, or even New Hampshire. And in most cases, those areas are not accessible any other way other than through NEAT. We're an incredible resource for not only the Groveland community, but also all of the 13 communities that we support. And it means equitable access. It means a smile with the miles that we drive. It means a touch of humanity, because we are a one-to-one service. Let me talk a little bit more about the program using my slides. So, as some of you how many of you have heard of NEAT? Okay, so you all know about the program. It started over 41 years ago. Did you know that? When 13 councils on aging at the time actually 14 councils on aging at the time, got together and decided that there needed to be a transportation mechanism to get people to anywhere. It was actually not just medical rides at the time, from what I understand. Now, I don't know anybody who's been here for that long or has been with the program for that long, so some of my information is a little fuzzy, but I will tell you that it started just because there were no Council on Aging vans at that time. There was no community transit grant that allowed people to get vans for the Councils on Aging. And these were mostly rural communities that needed services to get their people to where they needed to go, their older adults. And so it started over 41 years ago. And we're a unique mechanism that combines the power of a Council on Aging with for their community members, their riders or clients, and using volunteers. So we are strictly volunteer riding based. So our drivers are volunteer driver based. Our volunteers pick up their rides. Let me take a step back just a second. Let me go back to my slides. I tend to just talk and forget I have my slides that explain everything. So the volunteers of our program, and I know at least one of you in here has been a recent driver, they're the superheroes of our program. And the reason I call them that is because unlike anywhere else, they swoop in, they pick up their rides, they take our older adults to their medical appointments, and they come back and they provide that one-on-one humanity level service. So we provide rides to non-urgent medical and other essential appointments. Some of our councils on aging use us for other means. I look at it as having an umbrella of services under the category of well-being. They provide care and compassion. Many of them have gotten the services themselves. They are riders as well as drivers. And we provide much more than just a ride. We provide a sense of humanity and compassion, especially in this world where in 2023, the Surgeon General, thank you. I always say Attorney General. I don't know why I'm not. The Surgeon General said that there was an epidemic of loneliness and isolation in our communities. And so they're providing much more than a ride to a medical appointment. They really are providing that sense of humanity and connection to another human. Program fact and figures. We are 41 years. If you could just block out one of those communities, I couldn't figure out how to get rid of it. We no longer service Lawrence and haven't since I've started with the organization 4 years ago. We've started 41 years ago, have made over 250,000 trips, and it's steadily increasing as our population ages. And as you all know, we are becoming an aged society. I believe the statistic that I heard is there will be more people over the age of 60 in 2030 than there will be under the age of 18. Over 400,000 hours were donated by our superhero volunteers, and almost 3 million miles were driven by our volunteers to medical appointments. In the last 2 years, we've served, and I think that this number, it's always startling to me that the numbers are growing, but they're growing exponentially. And the funding sources are not there to meet that need. But in 2023, we served about 454 older adults. 2024, 536. And we're on track this year to serve over 600 clients. And that number is astounding. But the number of miles that we drive is even more astounding because we've become very auto-centric in our societies. And services like medical appointments have dispersed. And so the number of miles that we have to drive to get someone to where they go has increased substantially. So not only are we increasing the number of people that we're serving, we are certainly increasing the number of miles that we're driving. And that is a direct reflection in our mileage reimbursement program that we provide to the drivers. We are now required by federal law and state law to meet the IRS guidelines, which is 70 cents a mile. So we've gone, when I started, from 45 cents a mile to 70 cents a mile, which has certainly increased the number or amount that we are paying out of our budget. Yes.
Dory, when you have a statistic like served 536 older adults,
Yes.
does that include, maybe you have a client who's gotten 10 rides?
Yes.
Counted as 10?
It does not. It's one
What's the purpose?
client.
Okay.
And that's
so-
why you're seeing that the number of
Yeah.
miles and trips that we take are substantially more. And we're seeing that, especially over the last year or two, I'm seeing that the clients are becoming sicker. And as they age, that sort of tracks, but even more so in the last 2 years. And so the number of rides that people are getting has increased substantially.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Did anyone have any other questions?
Can I ask, and certainly I think Larry probably knows, but for others, how many people, and if you're going to answer this later, I can hold on.
That's okay.
We have the option as drivers to say, you can keep the money. Does that happen very often? Or does
Do you mean the drivers volunteer to donate their time? We do have a few people. Yes, not many. And quite honestly, I think that is a reflection of our economy as well, right? Inflation is huge. I had a gentleman tell me, and he said, I can afford to not take this money, but what it does for me is I take 2 to 3 rides a day, 5 days a week. What it does for me is it helps me to pay for things like car maintenance. His car went in the shop, and he actually paid for his rental car using the mileage reimbursement. And he got a rental car so he could continue doing the rides. So he didn't cancel the rides. He got a rental car so he could get these people to their medical appointments. So that to me is, it's the least I feel that we can do for our drivers. And the other thing is volunteer appreciation. I try to do as much as possible, and I haven't done it in a little while, is provide gas cards to those people who are driving for us on a regular basis. In addition to that, we should be inviting them to all of our volunteer appreciation events, which I know Alyssa does here in Groveland. And I also recognize them every month in a monthly newsletter that goes out with our mileage checks that recognizes how much they've done for the organization in terms of number of hours, number of trips, number of miles, and any thank you notes, snippets from thank you notes that we receive from the clients. And at Thanksgiving, I handwrite, this year it's going to be 50 notes. I handwrite 50 thank you cards to the drivers that drive for us. So I think it's important for us to acknowledge our drivers because they really go out of their way to get people to their medical appointments. So the way that it works, as some of you may know, is that a senior or an older adult contacts the Council on Aging. And the reason why the program was set up this way was to streamline the administration of the program. So the Council on Aging typically has someone who is an outreach coordinator or a transportation coordinator or an admin within the Council on Aging that can provide that service. So the senior calls the Council on Aging and talks to the designated person. That person puts the information into a transportation software program. It's called Assisted Rides. That's the program that we use. And that is also part of the retention for our volunteers. So our volunteers can actually go in and look at, the volunteers can actually go in and look at the totality of a ride and choose the ride based upon their schedule. So we don't have minimums. I don't put any barriers to entry for people to come and volunteer for us. They volunteer when they have an opportunity. And so this transportation software that was put in 2021 allows them to look at the totality of the ride and choose a ride that fits into their schedule. Because obviously many of them are retired themselves and would like to have other opportunities. Many of them volunteer for other programs and or have more time with family and friends. So I've been told that this is part of retention for our organization, that they can see the rides through the software. They choose a ride, and then I manage the program out of our Amesbury office. And we're not in the Council on Aging in Amesbury. We have a separate office on Main Street. And so I manage 13 communities for the NEAT program. So broken down, this is what my focus is in the NEAT office, in our main office. I do the volunteer recruitment, try to get the ads being put into the newsletters. I also hope that they also put, and I included flyers here for our next ad campaign, which is the gift of a lift. I try to get them to put, the Councils on Aging to put this out in their town hall, at the Council on Aging desk, on bulletin boards, so people are seeing it. And we've gone high tech this year. We've actually put a QR code instead of little tabs that people take and lose. So if you want to volunteer, it makes it easier. You just click on that little QR code and it goes right to our website where they can get access or gain access to our volunteer application. And on the back of the application, it has the top 5 reasons for volunteering for us. So I also do all the orientation and training. I've done 8 in the past couple of weeks, which has been unique. It's very unusual that we get that many people in such a short period of time. Again, retention is very important to me, so acknowledgement is important, and volunteer consultation. So I give every new volunteer my personal cell phone number so that they can contact me should anything be happening with their ride at the time, or if they have questions regarding the program or situations. There was just a recent one here in Groveland where a person needed some extra attention, and so I tried to bring that to the Council on Aging attention. I do all the administration, the mileage reimbursement, the grant compliance. Along with funding, you not only have to write the grant, but you have to adhere to the guidelines of the grant. Many of them have strict reporting that you have to do. I have 2 grants right now that I can think of where I have to report every month or every quarter on what we're doing and how we're doing it. I do all the grant invoicing. We get a very large grant from the state that comes from 5310 federal monies called the CTG, or Community Transit Grant, and that grant is a reimbursable grant. So we have to expend the monies first and then invoice based upon receipts, and then we get the money usually 30 to 60 days later. I also administer all the insurance that we have to have. We have 3 different insurances. We have a volunteer insurance program that covers our volunteers should their insurance not pay. Our insurance, supplemental insurance, kicks in. And I do all the nonprofit management and NEAT office management as well. I did have an administrative person who worked with me about 20 hours a week, and she went out on a medical leave and never came back. And the board and I have decided that at this point in time, it really makes sense, due to the funding, that we're going to not replace that person right away. We're looking at restructuring the organization a little bit. I also do all the development and grant writing. As I mentioned, I wrote 20 grants this year, and I have a 21st coming up very quickly. Will be due right after the holidays. That's an average of more than 2 a month. So you can imagine how tedious that is, along with administering the program. But I'm passionate about this. I'm passionate about older adults. I'm passionate about them getting the services that they need, just like you all are, and your mission of your board. We have several local and community foundations and grants that we get, mainly out of the Haverhill area. And one of them is the Wadley Foundation that is also covering the Groveland area. I've gotten into 2 banks right now, so I'm very pleased about that. And hospital, we had a 2-year Anna Jakes Hospital grant that I had, that was a new grant to us, and it was a 2-year that ended this year. So they're opening it back up. In fact, I have a meeting this afternoon with the administrator for the community grant there. We also this year, for the first time, got Title IIIB money, which is the Older Americans Act. That comes through AgeSpan. I think you probably are all very familiar with AgeSpan. And we also get client and volunteer donations. 2 years ago, I was kind of surprised that some of our volunteers have their own community foundations, and give money back to the organization. And they also donate their time. So that's an interesting twist for a source of donations. And our clients as well give donations. In addition to that, I speak. I tell anybody I can about this program because I want people to know about the service that we provide, and also I'm also looking for additional volunteers, obviously. Right now we're meeting about 75 to 80% of the need, and we really, really should be meeting 100% of the need. And the only way to do that is to get additional volunteers who are engaged in their community and who can do the work. So I also speak at Rotary clubs, at ACT clubs, at anywhere that I can speak, I go. Because I'm, again, passionate about the service that we provide, and people need to know about it. I also go to all of the health fairs and community fairs and volunteer fairs that I'm invited to as well. We have testimonials from our volunteers. I have people all the time telling me, I get more than I give. And it makes me grateful for what I have. And they're so appreciative of the ride and the companionship that I just continue to do this because I'm getting more from this than I'm actually giving to the people. And if you go onto our website, which is driveforneat.org, you can actually listen to the testimonials. I also did a morning show with, I'm drawing a blank on her name, Mary Jacobson at the studio in Newburyport, and I have the recorded line of what we talked about. It was a question and answer session with one of our volunteers, Greg Jablonski. So that's pretty much all I have. I'd be happy to open it up to additional questions or comments or suggestions. Yes.
So if someone is concerned, they're interested, they think this would be a wonderful thing to do, but if they're concerned about the people's medical issues, like their ability to get in and out of the car,
Yeah.
how do you address that with your volunteers?
So with COVID came the change in policy. So when we opened, we were closed for 5 months. When we opened back up, there was a need to make this a curb-to-curb service, which means that a driver should be able to pick up that person at the curb and then return, and they should be able to ambulate and transfer in and out of the vehicle. That's the way that it is. We do have an escalation in some instances for some individuals where they've moved from their ambulation being a walker to a wheelchair. We do not take wheelchairs at this time because some of our volunteers actually have their own challenges. And so as a result of that, we've implemented situations with the Councils on Aging through our Memorandum of Understanding, and also with MEVA through their with a Memorandum of Understanding that they will take people who are wheelchair bound because they have lift-served capability, and we do not. I can't ask a volunteer to break down a wheelchair 4 times by the time they get back home. So as someone progresses in their ambulation capabilities, we do, they no longer become appropriate for NEAT, and they are asked to use one of the other services that are accessible to them.
I would also just add that on the application for those requesting a ride, it also stipulates that. So
Yes.
everything is very clear on what is acceptable and what's not, just so that, right, we can give them the most dignity in their experience. You know, we don't want
Yes.
anyone to be a surprise.
Yeah.
So.
I'll tell you, it's a sad day when I have to not provide a ride to someone because they've increased their ambulation needs. Yes.
What happens to the 15 to 25% of people whose ride need might not be able to be met?
That's a very good question. They have to change their medical appointment and hope that they'll get a ride later on. Or they find someone who actually comes through for them and their family. You know, many people in this day and age do not have social or familial support. And if they have family that can drive them, they're either not located close by or they're working and can't take all of that time off. So NEAT becomes a very important program. We do need more volunteers. I can't state that enough. And I need the support of every Council on Aging board member, Friends member, and director to help us get the message out so that we are looking for people who can volunteer.
And another question, just for people that might be interested, how long is the training and the onboarding? Is that like a one morning session? Is it an
Yes.
online?
It's a quick meeting with me. Not quick. Well, it can be quick. Oftentimes people have so many questions, right? I had one yesterday that was 2 hours long, which is the max. I mean, that was extensive. We had a lot of things to talk about. He had a lot of questions. It should take between 45 minutes to an hour. I have a whole training document. I have training, so it's pretty simple to come get on board. Once you fill out the application, you come. We make an appointment. You come and meet with me, and then I spend like 45 minutes to an hour on a good day. People always have questions, right? Same questions that you have. What do I do if? And I try to address that. We have a manual that I wrote that sort of addresses those unknowns, and then we go through the guidelines of the program. Obviously, there are boundaries that they have to meet, and privacy and confidentiality of our riders is incredibly important. We talk a lot about that. So there's a lot of thought that has gone into the whole process of vetting and onboarding.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think you had your hand up first.
Do you require the drivers to provide a proof of a valid driver's license, insurance?
Yes,
Do
both.
they sign a waiver for liability?
All three of those things. Yes. Yes, they do have to sign a waiver of liability. All of our riders and our drivers sign that liability waiver, which exempts the Council on Aging and all the staff members, myself, from a potential lawsuit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are clients ever paired up? I'm just thinking, let's say, you have two clients that have appointments at 10 o'clock in the morning in Newburyport at the same location. Do you try to do that, or do you always have one client per driver?
It's typically a one driver, one client situation. However, I have drivers who are astute enough that when they're going in and they're going to go to Boston and it looks like there are two riders that are going at the same time, they'll call me and say, can I do that? Yeah, call the Council on Aging, let them know what you're doing. Yes, please do. And I go further, though, to make sure that those riders understand and agree to allow somebody else to go with them, because that may be a sticking point. There's a confidentiality, they might be uncomfortable with other people in the car, they don't want anybody to know what their situation is, where they're going. So I always ask the driver, if they're going to do that, to please check with both members, or it's usually two max, both people, to see if they're okay with that. And it's usually because they have the same start time and the same end time or close by, and someone may have to wait, and they will also check with that too. I said, make sure that both are on board. But that really falls on the driver to do that. The only way that we'd be able to do that is if our drivers don't all drive for all of the communities, so they don't see all of the rides that are available.
Oh, okay, so it's as a driver checks into their community, per se.
They check into their dashboard on the Assisted Rides program, and they will only see those communities that they've selected to drive for. Yeah.
Sorry, I would love to drive, but you don't want me driving.
Don't want you driving.
I'm blind in this eye.
Not everyone drives to Boston, by the way. That's another thing that I should say. Yeah. Everyone thinks, oh, if I drive, do I have? You drive when and where you want to go. It's not we actually have people who only drive to Boston. I have one woman who drives a Smiley van, and she takes people to Boston. So, and that's the only place she goes. So she drives for all 13 communities. I have another gentleman who drives, like I said, 2 to 3 times a day, and he arranges it, and he's amazing. He'll call the doctor's office to check to see when that person's going to be done. He doesn't leave it in the hands of the rider, so that he makes sure that he's there for the next person to pick up. Another woman in Haverhill does that as well. She's amazing. Yeah. And it all seems to work okay, knock on wood. But they found the little tricks, tips, and techniques on how to do it.
How to do it,
Yeah. Anybody else? Okay.
I know you talked about the liability requirements. I know for the town, any volunteers we have get a Corey
Oh, yes.
check. I assume that's,
Yes, we definitely do a background check. Yeah, I forget to mention that, like, not just anybody is going to do that. And out of all, I think I've onboarded probably close to 60. I've been with the organization for 4 years. I probably onboarded like 60 volunteers. I need to look in that and see how many I've actually onboarded. But I think I've only had one that I've had to turn away because the Corey didn't come back. Well, it's funny though that people always say, "Can you just let me know how, what, if anything came up on my Corey?" And I said, "Are you worried about that?" They said, "No, I just wonder."
If it did,
Right, you wouldn't be here. Yeah, exactly. And when I'm talking to a potential volunteer, after they filled out the application, I'm setting up the time, I always say, "You are going to be coming in to sign paperwork, and one of those pieces of paper is a Corey check." So it kind of self-eliminates beforehand. And I have had a couple of people say, "Oh, okay, well, never mind." Yep. Anybody else? Okay.
I just wanted to add in a couple of things.
Yes.
First of all, the process of booking rides is very, very easy. Secondly, working with the NEAT staff is delightful. And third, you get a lot of really good feeling inside when you have completed the task. So I encourage anyone listening at home to consider volunteering.
thank you for volunteering.
Thank you, Larry. Thanks for I didn't want to call you out and say, "Hey, you're," yes.
Thank you for all you do and for keeping this organized and simple to use, and I hope you get more volunteers.
I hope we do too. So anybody out there, I don't know if I'll turn around, anybody out there, if you're interested, call me, 978-388-7474.
And you said some drivers are retired.
Most of them are retired, yes.
Most of them are
Yes.
retired,
Yep.
but there really isn't an age limit on
There is
driving.
not an age limit. On the front end, it has to be 18 or over.
Sure.
And so I can't go into high schools. But I have gone to colleges. I've gone to UNH, and I've gotten a couple of drivers from there. I went to Merrimack College, didn't get much result from there. I tried to get into North Shore Community College, but they said that wasn't the demographic that would fit into our driving pool, probably, because they're typically working parents, single parents.
But if somebody is a parent and their children are now in school and they would like a little part-time,
I started when I had a child at home, a baby. And it was my first time staying at home. I did not stay home with my first child. I stayed home with my second. And about 3 months in, I said, I need to do something outside of the house. And I saw the ad in the paper, and I put her in her pumpkin seat, and off we went. And she had so many second grandparents. It was wonderful for her and for me. And we did.
You can bring a
You can,
child
yeah,
along.
you can, absolutely. And in fact, I have a gentleman who's an entrepreneur, and he said, can he bring his young teens with him? I said, absolutely. Not only is it good for the older adult to be able to interact with a teenager, but it's also good for the children to be able to see that there's a world bigger than themselves. And that's so important. So, yeah. I do ask them, though, if they're bringing a child, to make sure that the rider's okay with it, because I think that that's important as well, again, for the privacy and confidentiality part of it. But for the most part, it's a really nice symbiotic relationship when we have people coming with the driver. Anybody else? No? Okay. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And to those at home, please consider volunteering. It will come back to you twofold, as Larry said. It means a lot to the people who need these rides, and it means a lot to the communities that we serve and to the health and well-being of everyone, not only the individuals that get the service, but also for the community at large. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was excellent.
I know, me too. And,
Did
well, there's a limit, you can't do everything.
Alyssa copy and give out her packet?
No. But even if you could, you can't do everything.
So for the last grant that I wrote for the CTG, I got almost every one of the 13 communities to provide us with a letter of support, and Alyssa was nice enough to be able to provide that. Because it means a lot when you're writing a grant that you have the community support for those funds.
Sure.
Did everyone get a copy of the agenda?
Yeah, I have the agenda, yeah.
This is extras here.
Oh, okay.
Everyone
Did
has
you
it?
need- Yes.
We have more
Okay.
agendas if anyone needs one.
All right.
I'm saying it went over
So
twice.
next on the agenda were the focus areas, and transportation. Is there anything else? That was an excellent presentation. Makes you want to get up and do it. Anything else on that? No? Okay. Moving along to the community assessment survey.
I know. I was.
She's looking.
Oh, the numbers are in my board report. So oh, I do. Oh, because everybody wants one.
Mine's stuck.
I mean, I can open it on my phone, but if you have them printed out, but I don't
I
read
ran out
it.
of ink.
You can on my phone.
Share one for everybody. I have mine on my computer. Thank you for printing it.
Of course.
Do we have it? Do we have one? Oh, good. Good. Barbara has one.
Thank you.
Good, good. Does everyone have one? Because I can get it on my computer. Did you get one? Linda?
Yep, she has one. All right, so community survey update, it is in the board report, but, when I wrote this, we had 245 fully completed surveys. That means when people go online, they go all the way through. It doesn't mean that they have to answer every question, as we know, but they go all the way through and hit that submit button on the last question, and/or we have a full paper copy. So again, 245 completed surveys. We have over probably about another 100 or so of those that were not completed, and those aren't counted because they didn't press submit, so I won't count them.
There's no way in the survey software to push a message to the people that initiate?
Because we didn't collect the email addresses, but they should be able to go back if they wanted to
But they probably don't realize.
themselves. Yeah, so, yeah,
Submit.
you did. So that's where we are, about 30% of the way towards,
It's a big
our.
number, though, not to have, and we can't, that's unfortunate, that there's no way to, because could be a lot of data.
Yeah.
100 people that think they.
I mean, I did
some of
take
them
a
probably just
quick
opened it
look.
and-
I think there's a lot of that,
But you can't
especially
tell.
because we have it. Well, we can't see, I can see the
You can see.
results.
So you
So
can
you can
s-
see how far they got.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of them, it is clear that you are just sort of checking it out. As part of our landing page on our website. If somebody even just clicks to see it, that gets another
Okay,
click.
That's in there.
Yeah,
But you can see their responses of how much they did complete.
yeah.
So that can kind of be used, not.
Well,
not
I would
official.
feel, not I wouldn't add it to the totals just because.
Right, but if it's in agreement with what everything else, or, oh, here's something that I didn't think of.
Well, or maybe it's a duplicate because they went back and
Right,
later
or maybe
finished
someone
it.
said, oh, I don't really want to say this, I'm going to go back and edit it later.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
so,
It's a slippery slope, I guess.
It is.
Yeah.
nonetheless, 245, we probably have about 250 now. So 30% of our way to our goal of about 800 responses. I think as we mentioned when we started out, internally, I was really hoping to get it done in November. That was at a time where we were fully staffed and things were going smoothly and, and life just continually evolves, right? So that said, we are certainly not there yet, but I'm not concerned about it, just given that we don't have any urgency necessarily to get this data. Urgency on our own part of that, then that allows us to move forward for planning for, next year and years forward. But if we don't have it by end of November, which we won't, no harm done. So I think it's the most important thing for me is to make sure that we get as many voices heard as possible. So then that brings me to, I have your call sheets. So I will pass them out. I just ended up going through, I'll do it after, well, I'll let you sort through. How about that? That was Laurel's.
Oh,
Your name's on the upper corner.
up here, Laurel. Gotcha. Sorry, I thought we.
Linda, this is George. Irene,
I know any of these people.
Deb, Barbara. Do you want everybody? There you go. Thank you.
I'll deliver them.
You see them on the board? Did she not get? There should be one in there.
This feels heavy. Oh, there it is.
There we go.
Okay. I know some of these people, okay.
So I know we had talked about a couple of different ways of sorting, right? By address, if you wanted to go by where you lived, and that was just really complicated. So I just went and started going down alphabetically. And that will be an easy way for me to track, and as we continue to renew our call list. So the top page is the volunteer calling guide. It's a guide. It's not a have to do. It's just if you haven't done this sort of thing before and you have questions about how am I going to make this cold call, I'm hoping that this serves as some sort of point of inspiration, but also reference, reminding you that we are genuinely offering support or reminders. We aren't pushing anything. We aren't saying you must fill this out. It is just a kind reminder. We want to also remind people about confidentiality and that sort of thing. There also are responses that say, how if they have done it, if they haven't done it, and so forth. For all the options, we want to just make sure that we are recording as much as we can. I don't have the call sheet in front of me, but so when you have your numbers, you have your name, you have your numbers, and then you essentially have the action of what's next. I did a couple of demos. All of this information is publicly available. I had to pull from a couple of sources to make it happen, but it is all publicly available. So if there is not a phone number, it is because it's not listed in white pages and/or they didn't give it to the COA.
So do you have, so it doesn't look like a very long list.
Yeah, so we have many more. So I gave each.
I was going to say, the numbers
You're
just
like,
aren't
this
working.
looks doable. So I gave each of you about 20, maybe 25, maybe even a little less. But so you will see duplicates of last names on there. So as part of your call, you can be like, we want to make sure that everyone in your household is doing a survey. And so I did put something in the guidelines because I think a number of people that I received online, not a number of people, probably minority, but still a good handful of people would submit one per household, and they would be like, Barbara and Doug. And I was like, but Barbara might have different ideas than Doug. So, or even if they're the same, we still want to make sure that we hear from the individuals. So that's why I put them down there. Anybody that submitted, you will see sort of grayed out as yes, and I think I did that in particular if there was another person in their household. So you can be like, oh, it looks like somebody else in your household submitted. Can you do it too? Kind of thing. So that's where we are right now. Again, I was hoping that if you run through these and then you would like to get another call list, and I'll get them out to you. I would like to get an email out to our friends of the COA. I know they're very busy right now with a couple of upcoming events, but would love to get their volunteer and support out there, as well as our internal volunteers at the COA, and as well as staff, including our van drivers and so forth. So hopefully we can collectively hit 800 in the next couple months. Yeah.
Great. So I have a
Yeah.
question. I'm anticipating, maybe this won't happen, but, if someone says, where did you get my name? How did you get my name? Are there specific places that we can mention, or?
Yeah. So we do have as a COA, we, as part of the town municipality, we do have the residents' names of everyone 60 plus available to us. We do not have everybody's phone number. So then what I did is go to the white pages and looked up phone numbers. And compared it to what we have internally too. So we got the phone numbers either by they gave it to us or it's listed in the white pages. We got their names just because of public records in the town.
Thank you.
Yep.
And are we going to get hard copies if someone
Oh, yeah. Apologies. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
wants to actually do it over the phone?
Yep. Yeah, and if and when you do it over the phone, certainly your call to do it how you want. A lot of stories come with doing it on the phone. As you can see, we don't necessarily have the space on the survey to write those stories, so I will leave it up to you how you want to relay that information. If you're like, I'm just going to stick to the script, go down and chat with Alyssa. She would love to hear from you. Or if you wanted to write it in one of the optional boxes, we could, I will leave that up to you. It can take a really long time, though, if you do listen to the stories, which are great if you have time. But if not, that's okay, too. Pat did calls. I gave her all of the A's, but she, bumped them out the other day, and she didn't have any trouble with, nobody was like, why are you calling me? So, which was a good sort of test, if you will, to see what's going
Calling
on.
from the office
She
phone?
was calling from the
Where it
office
says
phone.
Council on Aging.
Yep,
See,
yep.
That's going to be the thing, is a lot of times people will not answer the phone.
Right.
I found when I was doing the tax
Uh-huh.
thing back a couple of
Yeah.
years ago, I had a better response. And these were people who had called the COA, wanted the tax, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
was calling them back.
Oh, yeah.
home, And they're like, they wouldn't answer. But
I could
as
see
soon as
that.
the COA
Yeah.
office.
Yeah. So I guess that, part of it really is that reminder piece, so hopefully you have an opportunity to remind them.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
that's
'cause
all we can do.
You could leave a message on a voicemail. And
Yeah.
Yeah, then
This
you
is
can
Wayne,
put,
call me back.
yeah, call you back, or I didn't put it on here, you can have them call the COA back, if they do want to make sure it's legitimate, absolutely.
The other thing I was thinking is when I do mine, I still have a landline.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do my landline, not my cell phone,
Yeah,
because that will come up differently on people's caller ID.
yeah,
Yeah, your
yeah.
name would come up on a
Yeah,
landline.
and I don't have, my cell phone isn't a 978
Yeah,
cell
yeah.
phone
Yeah,
number.
mine isn't.
So,
And I don't
if
want to
you
be
do have-
taking a survey, and I'm in the middle of Market Basket.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing is, and maybe you all know about it, is if you, completely understandable, if you don't want people to have your phone number, I get that. We can run through it together, but I believe it's still just *69, and then you dial the phone number, and it will come up as unknown on the other side. Again, chances are people probably won't pick up, but
Definitely won't pick up.
but you will be hopefully able to leave a message. So yep.
Of course.
I'm in the phone book, you can find me.
Well, I don't know. You can find out a whole lot of people things out there, and the white pages is a wealth of information. So, but that's also it. It might be outdated. It's current, but we also know people move, and phone numbers don't necessarily transfer. So, if you do get that information, if you could also make a note on your call sheet, so then when I get them back, I will make sure to update that too. So.
So at this point, how far through the alphabet did you get with our lists?
That's such a downer, Irene.
C or D?
So I was anticipating this to be a project that I could work with the program coordinator on, and we haven't had that luxury as of yet. So right now, I literally just started pulling all the numbers, and so we're able to get all the way through our Cs right now, and I think you all are just partway through our Bs. So,
I have Cs.
do you have Cs? Oh yeah,
I have Cs.
fantastic.
Oh, I only
Yeah.
have B, I have Bs.
Yeah,
You have Cs? Oh, good.
All right, progress.
we're making progress.
All right.
Any other questions? No. Okay.
Okay, we'll move on to the director's report.
Great. So last time when we met, the following week, I went off to the MCOA conference. That's the Massachusetts Councils on Aging conference. So all the COAs across the state are able to gather in one place if they are able to have the time and capacity to do so. There were well over 500 attendees. I think it was their biggest one yet, completely sold out, and just a really phenomenal time for those that enjoy, networking and learning and just getting the most of really focusing on what we do at the COAs. While we are all similar, we are all also offering, wildly different things as well. So it's a great opportunity to learn from each other, but also to have a number of the vendors and service agencies also getting to talk to us and learn new things. So a couple of things that I learned about was I went to a end of life conversations. I think we've had this going on for a little bit, but she's an end of life doula, and she's been promoting a new program or new idea in the work that she does of having conversations after movies, and these are more kind of documentary kind of movies, but so we would have a screening of sorts, and then a facilitated conversation afterwards, just to get people comfortable with all sorts of kinds of situations that are going on there. So that was really wonderful to listen to. I went to a dementia program. She was tremendous just in regards to the resources that she had, and really was confident in that this is what needs to happen, with the picture scales and the communication with the people. I think I'm still very much working on how do we get what can we do on the preventative side? I hesitate on the preventative word because we can't. It is a mental illness, but how do we make sure that we are in touch with people with that particular mental illness to make sure that they are in a safe living condition before it gets in a situation that is unsafe for them. So she was an incredible resource. So those were just a couple of things. And I also went to a dementia-friendly training for the statewide designation. That one was a little I was like, I need concrete, strategies, what's happening. I think it ended up being a little bit more of a roundtable conversation of communities and what they're doing. And I mean, one thing I gleaned from that is that we are doing a lot already. And I'm sort of, what I took away was we are already doing so much, not that we can't do more, but we do have to keep in mind capacity, right? And so if we're looking for this designation, does it mean that we have to do more? Then are we doing more just for the sake of getting the designation, and is it quality? So need to look at a little bit more into that. And I mean, designation's nice, but bottom line, we just want to make sure that we are serving and meeting the needs of our community, so.
No,
We're offline.
I think we're offline.
Well, it's starting back up.
Yeah. Did this once before.
Recording in progress.
There we go. So, overall, a lot of really wonderful things. More than happy to talk about it in deeper conversation if anybody is interested. Because I know we are short on time. So, finance highlights, nothing wild and crazy. I will say that we did get the first half of our formula funding, so that is just over $15,000. That came in October 31st. We'll get the other half, in the spring. I think typically in March, oftentimes we get that. Also wanted to make note that at the last Friends meeting, which was held, held a couple weeks ago now? November's flying by. First week in November, the Friends generously and unanimously voted to increase their monthly support from $350 up to $1,000 a month, starting in January through June. So thank you very, very much for making that happen. Huge impact on us. So thank you.
That means the public needs to support the fundraisers we have, too.
Yes. And I know some great ones coming up that Larry will talk about. Nisha gave her assistant director's report of just a sort of stats of things that are going on. She's doing a lot of great programming. Bone density was new for us, and we had the vaccine clinics, which I think, need to do a little bit of a debrief with the Board of Health. I think attendance was pretty low. I mean, thankfully, right, it is very accessible at all the various pharmacies. And so, this is a huge time commitment to the Board of Health more than anything. So we'll, rely on them on how they want to move forward with that. But I really appreciate their partnership there. Stats for November, we, continue with the same thing. Nothing, again, nothing out of the ordinary. We did continue to grow with our touch points. Again, the touch points meaning really how busy we are. So I think last month we were around 1,500. This month, close to 1,700 touch points. As continued and why we're doing what we're doing is the outreach services are huge. You'll see in the charts that no surprise, right? Food pantry is growing substantially. I went to their quarterly meetings a couple weeks ago. I know Deb and Nisha and others in the community went to O&T's annual breakfast, and across the board at that time we were seeing about a 25% increase of participants, be it small ones like ourselves to big ones like O&T, and that number is only going up. And thankfully, SNAP has resumed its funding, but clearly that uncertainty lingers in people's minds for a long time, and will continue hopefully to meet that need. So the community has been incredibly generous with their donations to our food pantry, not only with food, but also with Market Basket gift cards, which for this Thanksgiving we will be able to give all of our regular participants that come in a gift card so that they can do their Thanksgiving shopping with anything they can't find at our pantry. Today turkeys are arriving, so yeah, it's a good time. Any question on those numbers? I will let it be up to you to read my programming updates. Staffing and admin, just a note for as the holidays are coming up. We will be open pretty much business as usual, except for closed. Town Hall is closed on Thanksgiving Day and the Friday after, so the COA will be closed. On December 24th, Town Hall and the COA will close at 12 p.m. The COA only will be closed on December 26th, and the Town Hall closed on the 1st of January, then the COA will be closed on Friday, January 2nd. So we'll continue to post those hours, but definitely wanted to make sure board was here. It's really important for me that we are here for our community and open so that people can get the services they need. Program coordinator role, so the position is still officially open, hoping to close in on a candidate soon. Feeling pretty good about it, so, yeah. Hopefully we'll have updates by the end of the week, if not before, about having somebody in the position. We had a lot of great feedback from last time around that we implemented into this round of applications, which really meant that we focused more on the logistical aspects and making sure that they were tech ready. Tech ready meaning at the very baseline of your willingness to learn and how fast you can learn those skills. So, last thing I'll note here is one of the things I learned at the MCOA conference was maybe you all know about it, is the UMass Donahue Institute, and they have a population projections for every single town in Massachusetts, and so I wasn't aware of it until I went to that session. So I did look up Groveland. They have the whole population. I, clearly focused on 60 and above. Using their projection, because they started back in 2010 with their numbers, that we were going to have about 2,246 residents. That's not too far off of where we are, so pretty reasonable in 2025, and that's, where we're growing from there. 2030 is where it peaks in this particular projection. So, 4 years from now is where we'll be that peak, but we still pretty much baseline of just over 2,000, residents. I think something that I found interesting is that, our oldest resident will continue to grow substantially, you see in these numbers, by really by 2050, we have 196 older adults ages 80 to 84, and we go to 296 in 250. And so I think, as always, we'll just go with the ebb and flow of what we are doing and offering, but I think this offers a really great resource in how we plan.
Just to clarify, you mean this is the population of people 60 plus, because I don't know if you said that in the beginning, maybe I missed it, for people who are listening.
Yes.
It's not our population.
Yep. Yep.
But out of our population, right now, we are projected for 2025 to have 2,246 people, residents 60 and plus.
Yep. Yes. So that was my board report in a nutshell, if you will. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. Yeah, I know there's other topics of conversation, so.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Just to reflect back, my wife and I went to the bone density test.
Yeah,
My wife had me nervous. She says, you can't have any metal, you can't have this, you can't have that. And I'm saying, well, I wear suspenders and a belt. If I take my suspenders off, I'm in big trouble. No, you got to get in this tube. So we went there, and the nice lady, Pam, says, take off your left sock and shoe and put it in a little boot, and that was it. I says, I'm ready to take it, it worked out very good, was quick, easy, very, very informative.
awesome.
So-
Really glad to hear that. Thank you,
Yeah.
George.
Did they bring, they're big machines, the
No,
bone
no.
densitized.
They just did this, yeah.
Yeah, just a boot.
So it's like it's more of a screening,
It's
Yeah.
a portable way of
'cause it can't be
screening the
as-
screening.
yeah, because it can't be as
Right.
accurate.
No, it's
as the
not
one that I've
that
been-
long,
Well,
no.
not in, you're
So
on
they would
it.
Right.
see your foot and say,
Really?
you need to go,
Right.
go further. If your
Interesting.
foot seems okay, then probably the rest of your bones are
Huh.
okay. The bone,
Did
right?
anyone notice who the manufacturer was of the equipment?
Ooh.
No.
No, but science is truly amazing, isn't it?
No, I just wondering. Because the company that Dave worked for
Oh.
and that my daughter-in-law works for, makes bone densitometers, but I didn't know that they made these portable ones, so now I'm gonna go research that.
Right? Yeah.
The girl Pam said that they were gonna do it again in Georgetown.
Okay.
So if anybody, you know,
I could
And I-
not imagine how that was gonna work, because, I mean, 'cause I've had a couple.
no, that's what my fear was.
Yeah.
I'm saying, you know, but no, it's like going to the shoe store.
Well, appreciate that feedback. Yeah. So if and when we do it again, we'll know to put that into the
Yeah.
description to alleviate fears.
Fascinating.
Yes.
Glad you brought that up, George, I had no idea. Could not imagine how that was gonna work, at the fire station. I know.
Thank you, Alyssa, very informative and thorough report.
Of course.
Moving on, subcommittee updates. Finance, anything? Okay. Personnel? Sorry.
Sorry, I should have put this in there. Next month, just as an FYI, I think we will need to finalize our budget at the meeting, so, yeah.
You'll let me know when you wanna meet on that, yeah.
You
Okay.
haven't gotten the information yet from town.
Personnel?
Laurel asked if we received follow-up. We did, I did my one-on-one with Rebecca. We did have a draft of dates. I don't know that it was finalized yet, but there is a draft that they're working on, so, yeah.
Anything from nominating? Nope. All right. And Friends of the COA update, Larry?
Thank you. We have been very successful with our fundraisers. As Alyssa said, we've been able to increase our monthly donation to the Council on Aging to $1,000 a month. I want to thank all of the people associated with the Friends, the businesses who have contributed, the people who show up and do the work. We've had a really good year. The November calendar raffle is ongoing, a little bit more than halfway through. More than 20 local businesses contributed services and cash and goods, along with members who donated. So all of the tickets that we sold, it was all pure profit. Raised over $3,000 just on that one fundraiser. Upcoming, our next fundraising event is on December 6th. We're having a concert by the Memory Laners, a local group that sing doo-wop music and oldies, and they're throwing a few holiday tunes in there. And we're very, very excited to include the Bagnell Elementary School Chorus as the opening act. They are happy to have another opportunity to perform, and where those of us who don't have grandchildren get to enjoy some holiday Christmas songs or holiday music songs from children's voices. The tickets are $15. That again is going to be, it's a fundraiser, so the tickets are a little bit more than we would like to, but where every cent that we raise goes to the Council on Aging. The tickets for children are $10. There are a number of ways you can buy the tickets. You can get them at the door. We are selling them in advance. You can contact the Friends by email or contact individual Friends members to sell you the tickets. The email address is 01834 FOGCOA, Friends of Groveland Council on Aging, at gmail.com. And if you order the tickets, we'll put them in an envelope, leave them on the desk in the Council on Aging office. You go and put your check or money in that envelope and put it in the Council on Aging mailbox, and we'll make sure that everyone gets the tickets they need. I just talked to two members of our community who had seen on Facebook that I had posted about the concert yesterday, and they came in to purchase tickets. I want to ask anyone who has seen those notices on Facebook, either on the Friends webpage, the Council on Aging webpage, or I put a notice in the Groveland Town Crier, if you would like and share that, it'll get the word out. We'd like to get about 200 people into that concert. It would be a great, open to anyone in the community. You don't have to be a member of the Council on Aging. You don't have to be a member of the Friends. We just want people to come out and have some fun. That's why we call it a fundraiser. Couple things coming up. Our yard sale was another big fundraiser this year, and we have set a date of May 2nd for next year. So May 2nd, 2026 is a Saturday. We're only doing one day so that people can mark that down on their calendars. And finally, our December meeting will be December 4th, usually in the afternoon, but there's a program going on or a trip going on that day, so we've moved it to 10:15 in the morning on December 4th. If you have not joined in on a Friends meeting, please do. We have a good time. We work together. We get a lot accomplished. It's a great group to be part of. That's all I have.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you to the Friends for their generosity. It's fantastic. And to the community who comes out and supports our activities. Thank you. Moving on, other, okay. Anybody have anything other?
The only thing I'd like to say is that yesterday, or the day before, I emailed everyone a copy of the tracking spreadsheet for our goals and objectives. So hopefully everyone got that?
I did not.
No?
No.
Some of you did, some of you did. That's-
I got it.
So,
Check your junk.
I think it was on the same thread as all the
it
other
was a reply.
documents.
It
Yeah, it was a reply.
to Irene's
Yeah.
agenda
Okay,
items, yes.
Okay.
That's
I got
true.
something-
Yeah,
yes, all
it was
right.
a reply to that. So just as you you don't have to look at it now, look it over, let me know. I mean, it's pretty darn simple, but you could just tell me what you do, and I'll fill it out for you. It's got, so the top section is when we attend different programs, because we're all supposed to, I believe, attend at least two programs, which many of you do way more than that. And then the other section is to actually attend, participate in some kind of training and report back on, which you guys did the language, ageism language. I didn't have the exact title of what you took or the date, so you can send me that. And then the other thing, the other section of it is the ambassador, when we have van trips. That, we talked about having that, ambassador program and making sure that we had ambassadors on half of our van trips. So right now, all that shows is the van trips that we've done this year, some of which I think have been canceled, I'm not sure. And then I just need to know if anyone was an ambassador on any of those. And then just send that to me before each meeting, maybe like a week before each meeting, so I have time to actually put it together, and then we can report on that and track it.
So each week, are you saying, Deb?
Oh, no, just
No.
like a week before each meeting. Don't send it
So
to
if
me.
you've done something between now and our next meeting.
Oh.
Yeah,
Let her-
or
In the
from
past.
July 1st and now.
Yeah,
Just-
that's what I was going to say,
Just let me
going
know.
back. And also, I haven't seen it. I'll check.
It's
my-
on I did, you're right. Thank you for
It's-
reminding me
and I
of
hope
that.
I
I
didn't-
just replied to Irene's.
Hope I didn't trash it. I don't think I
Because
did.
I thought I was supposed to have it for this meeting, so I figured I'd put it with all of this meeting's documents.
Now I wonder if, instead of having to communicate with you every time and you trying to fill it in and everything, if there is a way of our being accountable, like if each one of us had a form to fill in for what we do, so that we are keeping track of that, and then we
Feel
could
free.
put it together.
Feel free to print out what I did and write on it however you
Well,
want it.
couldn't we have a Google spreadsheet that is accessible to all of us, that we just?
We should be able to share this. It's actually,
So
what
I
I
can go on
sent
and say,
you-
I
well,
attended this, and
what I
everyone-
sent you was a PDF for right now.
Okay.
Because I didn't actually want people inputting things
Right.
at this point. So
Right.
what you got in your email was a PDF, so you
PDF.
could see the format.
Yes.
I can certainly send the Excel version, and we can set it up as, I'm not sure everyone accesses Google Docs.
I'm wondering, just another idea to throw out there. What if you just bring a empty document to the meeting and then pass it around?
We can do
I don't
that,
know.
and then I can take it home and interpret your
Writing?
and input it
All right.
after the meeting, and then not have the data. Or you can send it to me ahead of time, and I can do it ahead of time and have it. I honestly don't care. All I said is I would set up a format. I've set up my format. You all have copies of it. Do with it what you will.
So I have a question about,
We're doing.
okay, so
Don't
my
care.
question, and when we came up with this, is, okay, the trainings. Now, you went to a specific training, I need to know, like, how do I find out about these trainings? Was yesterday's program considered a training? We learned about nutrition and that type of thing. Is that a training or is that a program? Program can be 3B Fit.
Yeah.
And then that's more like a training, I'm learning something. I mean, yes, he was talking about his food
I-
products, but we learned about
I think the
nutrition
learning was on your own. My understanding was the learning was on our own.
on your own.
If
So-
you turn over your agenda for today, I took our
Oh.
key results and organized them the way Alyssa did at the start of her report today,
Yes.
and even last month with her SMART goals. So, as you see under Pillar 1, to meet the evolving needs of older adults in Groveland, the first key result says, each board member records a list of 2 or more trainings and/or informational resources each year. So in your mind, was yesterday's program an informational resource for you?
Yes,
There's your answer.
but not a training that I went to somewhere else, like at the mass conference or not a big, this is a COA training.
Right, it says
and
or.
Because
So
I don't know how to get in touch with things like that.
Alyssa will often send us
Yeah.
emails and
Emails
say,
for the-
check this link.
And, yeah. I haven't been able to
suggestion.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that, or, I mean, if you're following other things on Facebook, you know, I think AGE sends out a lot of trainings, Alzheimer's Association sends out a lot of things,
Okay, so those are types. It
the
doesn't-
National Association of Aging, so, yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, and those are just age, are sector specific, but I'm sure there are many things out there that
I
would
just
be
didn't know if it
transferable.
had to be with our COA in particular. I was just being specific.
I think the main point, but correct me if I'm wrong, because, sorry, maybe this isn't even my goal, so apologies, but is that we're bringing the learning back so that we're learning, you know, collectively
So
through
can you
somebody.
want me to bring my learning back here from yesterday?
Yes, I wasn't there. What was it about?
I found it very interesting. First of all, I want to thank the robocall because that reminded me about this and I'm like, oh, I can make it. You know, sometimes you see it when you get your newsletter, you see it. And it's like, I don't know what I'm going to be doing that day. That's like weeks in advance. So it turned out great. I called, I said, yes, I will come. So it was great. I'm glad I did. The food was, by the way, very good, very delicious. It was a program that was put on by, do you remember the
Heart.
name of the company?
Heart healthy,
Heart to
heart
Health?
healthy meals. like
Heart
that.
Heart to Health? Health to Heart?
Brain health was the
It was
title
Brain
of
Health
it.
was the title.
Yeah.
Keeping our brains healthy. The gentleman came from
Home to
a
hearth meals.
company-
some-
Heart, yes, heart to home
Heart to
meals.
Home. I knew it had heart and I knew, yes. Heart to Home Meals, it's a company that you can subscribe to. You know, you can just go and say, I want one meal. They prepare the meal, they bring it frozen to you. He said they'll even bring it right into your freezer, which I thought was great. Very reasonably priced. All the meals are labeled if they're, you know, for diabetes, for low salt, low calorie, all these different, you know, things that people might need to have for their nutritional benefit or needs, all nutritional. And he talked about the importance of, you know, first of all, what you need to maintain a healthy body, mainly brain. He talked his own experiences, you know, a lot of which I think we all kind of knew, but it's always great to be renewed, like, oh, yes, I need to eat a lot more fish, don't I? And not the kind of fish that I eat. Just, basic nutritional values and what these certain foods do for your brain, for your body, the important vitamins and minerals, proteins, whatever that you get in there. It was good. It was
Did they say anything about insurance coverage?
There
Yes.
was a link, certain
Okay.
insurance companies will help to cover for the cost. The cost of the food I found was pretty reasonable. It was cheaper than going out to eat. The food was very good, what we sampled. Yeah, I'm glad I came.
Yeah,
So that was my learning, and I went home and said, we need more berries in this house.
I was
and more
also
fish."
glad that I went. I was interested to hear his story. He had had an event that affected him greatly neurologically, and just changing the diet, adding things to the diet, has helped his retention skills as well as other people that he mentioned. But yes, there were a lot of handouts, including the one about which insurance companies cover this. And the program was very well attended. This room was full.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people there, so it was a great resource.
Yes.
I don't know how many of you are members of the AARP, but, mentioning different sources for information and learning. I've gotten the magazine since I was 55. And, I would read them and go through them, but, having been involved now with the Council on Aging, and some background, I read those with much more depth. And the recent one of the recent newsletters was Aging Alone, which really hit home for me. So there's lots of good information in there, and read them. If you get them, read them.
Okay.
Great.
So looking forward to December, we're going to be discussing the budget. Okay, I can't predict how much time that's going to take. But I also wondered, and the reason that I did reorganize the board's key results for our 3 pillars was for people to just look those over in case we want to look at them in December or January and kind of assess, how are we progressing in fulfilling this key result? What more might we be doing? Just something like that for December or January, so please hold on to
Yes.
this.
I didn't see that you had printed it on the back. I saw this in the email.
I thought I would save a tree and print it on the back.
All right. Anything else?
Do we need to put a follow-up on December's meeting for how the calling is going? Oh.
That sounds great. Love that. Thank you. We have plenty of calls to make, so if you run through that list, let me know.
All right, okay.
Just one other thing. I want to thank High Point, another hat, High Point House for giving us the gift packages. I think it's a little used resource. I mean, they have doulas there, they have grief counseling, they have a whole bunch of things that are open to the public that, we should be using or can be using. So, that's all.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, if there isn't anything else, is there a motion to close the meeting at 10:55?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting is closed.
So did you get a one that they're wearing?
No. I never got one.
We got one in August.
I never got one. We weren't here. I don't know.
I know, is that why? Because I'm like, I would have worn it yesterday, like I was supposed to be wearing it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did I get one and lose
I
it?
never got one.
Okay, all right, thank you. Deb and I never got one of those little, I would have worn my little pin if I had it yesterday.
back to
Did I?
Did I do the same thing? When would we have gotten them?